Okay, so today we're going to look at momentum and how we get momentum and how we keep momentum. And this is a major thing, and I can see how the enemy distracts us. So what happens is, let's say God gives you a project, and you got a project, and you got a plan. It takes a tremendous amount of effort for this plan to get going. In other words, this whole plan to get going. And you plan it, you put it on a task list, your project list, and you're doing it, and you work for 3 months. And it's like you start to push a train, and eventually the train starts moving. And it's taking you 3 months or 6 months to get this train moving, and it's now moving at a good speed, and you're very happy with it. Okay. And it took you 3 things to get it moving. 3 things. Or 2 things, or 4 things. So what happens now is that the devil comes along, and your flesh comes along, which your flesh is always there. So it might be the devil, it might not be the devil, it might just be your flesh. But the flesh comes along, and now you get so busy harvesting, in other words, enjoying the success, or reaping the harvest. It's like you've now planted potatoes, and now you're reaping potatoes. Now because you're reaping potatoes, you don't have time anymore to plow, to plant, and to water. Why? Because you're reaping. So now you stop sowing, you stop watering, you stop planting, and what do? You start to do a whole lot of other things in your day, because you've only got 24 hours in a day. So we start to do things that are not directly related to the success that you want. Success means you're getting the harvest. In other words, you've got a plan to get X amount of sales, you've got to get X amount of business. You want to be able to get your sales to say 100,000 a day or 100,000 a month or whatever it is, and you've got this target, and basically you're reaching out to that target. And what the devil does, and what our carnal nature does, is actually deceives us into believing that we must be doing something else. And another thing which is very important is that, first thing is that we haven't identified our key success factors. Okay, so that's the first thing you need to do. Right, take a piece of paper, and before the end of the day, write down what makes me successful in this business. What makes me successful in this business? If you've got a position in a company, if you've got a business, say what is the things that makes this business successful? Okay? Those are the drivers. What made us successful and what will keep us successful? And it could be 4 things. Okay. Now the problem is, you've got momentum, and then for some reason you stop doing the things that got you successful in the first place, and you actually excuse it with some kind of thing. I'm too busy. Yeah. Have you ever said that? I'm too busy. It's like being too busy to brush your teeth. Literally, you can get too busy to brush your teeth. You could get too busy to go to the toilet. You can get too busy to sleep. You can get too busy to spend time with your children. You can get too busy to spend time with your wife, your husband. You can get too busy for a lot of things. But is it right? The moment you stop brushing your teeth, something happens. Decay sets in. Decay sets in to your teeth, and you won't lose your teeth in a week. But gradually, as you stop brushing your teeth, decay sets in, and eventually you're going to start losing your teeth. So if you've kept your teeth for 30 years, you want to keep them for another 30 years, keep brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth is boring. And some of the key things that keep you successful are the basics. Like if you're a sports person, the most successful sports people in the world are the people that do the basics consistently, and they never stop them. Like brushing your teeth, going to gym, doing your basic exercises, the boring exercises. Golfers, for instance, have to hit hundreds of balls just about every day to keep their swing in place. It doesn't like, I'm a good golfer, now I can relax, I can travel around the world and not practice. When they're out on the tour, they're still practicing every single day. And they practice for 8 hours or 10 hours a day. They're not just playing when you see them. They're practicing. What are they practicing? They're practicing their swing. When last did you practice your swing? You said, my swing. If you're in sales, your swing is your pitch. How good is your sales pitch? What do you say to people on the phone? Do you change your pitch every time you talk to somebody? Do you come up with a new pitch every time? Or do you say the same thing every time and you know what your closing rate is with that pitch? So you must know, if I use that pitch, I get a closing rate of 50%. Very good. Okay, so you got, okay, fantastic. So why would you change your pitch? You wouldn't change your pitch. But sometimes we get bored with the pitch. So what we're going to do is change it because we're bored, but don't worry, the person only hears it once. That person that you pitch to will only hear that pitch once. So we don't like to repeat ourselves, so what we do is change the pitch. That's a common problem with salespeople. But it works like this. Maybe you're just bored with brushing your teeth. Maybe you're bored with praying. You know, pray every day. I mean, really? Why do you have to pray every day? God loves you anyway. But those are the disciplines. It's basically the word here, I would say, is discipline. Discipline to do those things that make you successful. The key success factors. So this also comes down to planning. So if you don't evaluate yourself, remember what God taught us about the warfare. The fourth point of warfare, remember those 4 points. Okay. The first one is what? Vigor.
Vigor in prayer.
Vigor. And you get vigor through prayer. So the devil will try and stop our prayer lives, all of us. The next one? Disarm the enemy. That's warfare. Are you disarming the enemy every day?
Amen.
Okay. Next one? Systemize. Are you systemized? Systemize means, are you doing your daily plan and your monthly plan? Do you have a monthly process plan like we were talking about just now? Like your groceries. What do you need to do for the month? What is your cycle? You've got a sales cycle. Okay, it closes the month. I've got to get my adverts in on the 24th. I've got to do this. I'm talking a basic plan and say on the 24th, that's what I do. No appointments. I do that on the 24th of every month. If you don't have it, you're going to end up making an appointment when you're supposed to be doing something else. And you're going to miss the bus. And you miss the harvest. And then you'll be upset that you missed the harvest. But you plan to miss the harvest because you plan to fail. Those that fail to plan to fail. So we are not disciplined at planning. Planning, okay, I can tell you one of the key success factors for all businesses. I can tell you what it is. It's planning. Planning. Okay. Then the other one is writing down your keys, writing down your key success factors. What makes you successful? Those key success factors. Like for your health, you must know, I must brush my teeth, I must eat healthy, I must get 7 hours of sleep a day. And those are non-negotiables. Maybe one night or something like that, it's fine. But you can't do that on an ongoing basis because you're going to lose the momentum. And so what the enemy is going to do is he can't stop you. What he'll do is he'll take you on a track and he'll just start to derail you or distract you to get you off the rails and then you fall, either left or right. So I've seen that in business, I've seen it in my own life. It's like you're going, and suddenly you forget or get deceived and you stop doing the things that got you there in the first place. And you lose momentum. Now you've lost momentum. You've had this train moving and it stops. Suddenly it comes to a grinding halt or it slows down and you say, this is not enough. I can't live off 5 rand or 5,000 rand. I better make more. But I was making more 6 months ago. Or a year ago. Well, go back and see what you were doing. So it's not always that you're actually progressing. A lot of times we regress and we go back to our old ways. And then everything starts to take a dip again, thinking what happened. And also I've seen, even here, in this business, I've seen how the enemy attacks you like crazy to distract you. And because you don't have your list of success factors, you don't have anything to bring, and I believe those key success factors is your tracks. Like a train. Can you imagine a train and you suddenly remove the tracks? Now the derailing process is easy. If the enemy manages to deceive you and me into removing the very tracks that kept us online, which is discipline, the tracks of discipline. The discipline. In other words, brush your teeth every day. And then you put the energy into it and it stays on track. But if it starts to go off track, it's because the tracks are disappearing. The train cannot just go off the tracks. if something happens with the tracks, the train will lose traction. It'll just go off the tracks. And so what the enemy will do is come to you, resist you, start firing bullets at the train. You're the train driver, and you start looking at the view. And you start looking around, and you start to forget to check the instruments of the train. You forgot to put in fuel. I mean, ever try that with a car? Just forget to put petrol in. And then you see the orange lights. Just ignore it. You've got to actually, look, going to put petrol in can be an hassle. But you got it. It's boring. I mean, sit there, guys, and it's costly. It costs you money too. You have to invest to keep going. It's like advertising. So in other words, if you're not keeping on advertising, keep on promoting your products, keep on giving offers, all those basics of sales, what makes sales successful. There are key factors that make sales successful. Now, if you're in the maintenance department or let's say property management, there are success factors there that will keep property management successful. So I think one of the most useful things you can do is write down the key success factors for your department, where you are, and if you're in charge of the business, the whole business. What are the things that make you successful in your business? Because if you don't know what it is, you're going to end up not doing something for a number of weeks or months. And when you find out, it's almost, I'd say too late, but it's going to cause you a lot of pain. And you suddenly find out, oh my goodness, I forgot to do my returns. Now, you know, if you start to mess around with tax, you're going to have a problem, because you're going to get a big hard reminder. And those things we don't tend to forget because we got some reminders. But there are other things that we're not forgetting. We are forgetting. We're not, because we don't write it down and we don't have a checklist. That's your grocery list. A grocery list, when you go to the grocery store, is to make sure that you don't forget the tomato sauce. Because what are you going to do if tomato sauce is important? Now you're busy having whatever, macaroni or cheese, if you like tomato sauce, or milk. Now you can't feed your child food because you forgot the milk. You have to go in your car, get in the car, go all the way to go and get the milk. Stop the bus, we've got to go and get milk for whatever, 30 rand. You've got to go and stop everything. How's that for productivity? Just because you were too lazy to write a list. Because that's really what it is, laziness. And the Bible says, go to the ant. And that's the scripture we just read now. Go to the ant, you sluggard. It says, yeah, go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. This is Proverbs 6, verse 6. And verse 7 it says, which have no captain or overseer or ruler. In other words, no one is, it's amazing. God made the ants with wisdom, energy, and strength. And it says that ants do not have a captain over them. That's amazing. Thousands of ants, all in order. No sergeant majors. And it says here, it says provides her supplies in the summer and gathers her food in the harvest. So in other words, this ant, every ant knows when it's summer and when it's harvest. And there's a difference. And it knows when to do what. And it does it automatically, and they're all working together. They're actually in lines. If it was human beings, what would happen? Just chaos. Yeah, they're all working together as a colony of ants. They work as a colony. And they're doing all this, and there's no one telling them what to do. That's why it says, consider ways and be wise. So you don't need a boss to tell you what to do. Because you know what to do. And if you don't know what to do, sit down and start writing down. And go to someone that knows what to do and say, what should I do? The first thing is you do in the business, do your plan. You do your plan, you write down those key success. So now you've got your plan, you've written down your key success factors. And then you've got to do goals. What are your goals? What are your goals? What are your goals for today? Do you have a goal for today? Do you have a goal for the week? I'm talking in rands and cents. What's your goal? How much are you going to earn today? Because now I'm talking to salespeople. So do you have a goal? How much are you going to earn today? Do you have a goal what you're going to earn with the week? Do you have a goal for what you're going to earn the month? Now let's say you've got a goal and you've only got a goal for the month. Do you know what you need to do to get that goal? Have you broken it down into so many activities? Because if you know your closing rate is 50%, you need to have to speak to, say, and you want to do 10 deals, you have to speak to 20 people to get your 10 deals. Now, if you're not seeing those 20 people, you're going to have a problem. Because you've got a hit rate and you're not actually doing the things that are going to get you the results. But you're doing a lot of other things, but you're not doing that thing. And those are the essentials. And so, in other words, you've got to keep the train moving. But you might think you need to polish the wheels. And you might need to clean the dashboard. And you might need to do this and everything. But if you don't keep the train moving, you can polish the wheels all you like. You're going nowhere. So there are certain things that are vital. And there's certain things that are nice to have. But you've got to prioritize, and you've got to know every single day, or every single month, or every single week, I need to do these actions. And if I don't do that, the train will slow down. If you're in charge of a business, the whole train will slow down. If you're in charge of, and you're a salesperson, your train, your coach will just slow down. And you will not be in sync with the train. He says, how long will you slumber or sluggard? When will you rise from your sleep? It's interesting, he wasn't talking about work. It was actually talking about that this ant is doing the right thing at the right time. It's talking about summer and harvest. It works, obviously it works. It's not just about working. This ant, every ant is actually doing the right thing at the right time. So if you're supposed to be doing promotions or doing adverts, but you're doing admin, you're going to miss the boat. So the question is, what does your sales process look like? What's our sales process look like for the month? How does your sales process work? What should you be doing on the 1st of every month? On the 2nd? On the 3rd? Of the 4th? Because there's some things you have to do at certain times of the month. Like you're saying just now, you've got to put your adverts in on that time because that's the time. There's a whole cycle that's going on here because it happens the same every month. It depends on what kind of business you've got. When is your harvest time? And when is your summertime? Because harvest is different to summertime. With summertime it rains. Harvest time is your harvest. So summertime is time for watering. Harvest time is time for reaping. And you can have that every month. I'm harvesting now. This is 3 days, I harvest. I do nothing else, I harvest. Stop everything. Stop the bus. All those other calls, all those appointments, I'm not interested. I harvest because if I harvest now, I'm going to eat for the whole month. Because the wheat is ripe for 3 days. In. You miss the 3 days, your sales are out the door. Because there's seasons in sales. In a lot of sales, there's a lot of seasons. You've got to determine what. You've got to find out what is the season. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands. So your poverty will come like a prowler and your need like an armed man. Because we're not planning. And this plan is a flexible plan. You need to be flexible with plan, and remember, a plan, you're going to do a plan, it doesn't mean you're going to do everything in the plan. You're going to try and do most of those things and you're going to plan to do that. Alright, so you're going to plan to do it, but at least write it down. These are the things I'm going to do, and there's certain non-negotiables every day. You say, today I've got to do these 4 things. Just make 4 things. Or, like we did last time, 6 things. These 6 things I must do. If there's something else I'll add on, it's fine, but I must do these 6 things today. The problem is if you write down the wrong 6 things, you're going to have a big problem. And it doesn't include brushing your teeth. You're going to lose your teeth. So you've got to have the right, but here's the problem. We're not even writing down the 6 things. Because why? Why don't we do the planning every day like we used to? Why won't we plan every day? The standard answer is, I'm too busy. I'm busy. I'm very busy. Or you could say, I forgot. Forget to plan. Fail to plan. You plan to fail. Okay, so all we have to do is say to the Lord, because we're working for Him and with Him. We're co-laborers with Christ. We go to Him and say, Lord, I'm very sorry for not being like an ant. This is called ant planning. And so we can say, Lord, forgive us for not being, because he says, go to the ant. Then he says, you sluggard. I mean, that's not a nice word. It's like, you always think of someone else when you think of the word sluggard. I'm not lazy. I work very hard. This actually, we're talking about timing and planning here. Those ants plan when they're going to do, and there's harvest time, and they know the seasons. And you need to know the season in your business. You need to know what season is what. And you're going to plan accordingly. Say, in that time of the month, this is what I'm doing. And so I can see how the enemy distracts me, and he distracts you guys, and he distracts everyone to stop doing the basics. So you need to then, okay, so let's do the steps. All right? To gain momentum, you've got to do a plan. You've got to implement the plan, but you've got to do those things that are going to make the drivers. Let's call them the drivers. Those key success factors. Those key success factors that make you successful. Make sure you're doing those things. And a lot of those things you actually, unfortunately, have to do every day. Like brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth is not something you do once a week. Even though you can be consistently brushing your teeth, you go to the dentist, he says, you brush your teeth. You say, yeah, every Sunday. Like clockwork. I brush it for an hour on Sundays. An hour, you brush your teeth. Why don't you spread that out and do it every day for 5 minutes? Why do you brush it for one day? So it's like you would never do that with your teeth. Brush one day for an hour to cover you for the week. You know, like really clean teeth on Sundays. You wouldn't do that. So it's like it's like every day, 2 minutes on your teeth. Every day, morning and night. Some people brush their teeth in the middle of the day too. I suppose it's also very good. But at least minimum twice a day. Every day of your life until you're dead. Isn't it? Okay, so that's brushing your teeth. So there are some things in business that you have to do every single day. And the difficult thing is when you don't plan and take control of your day. Take control of your day. That's why you plan. Either your day will control you or you will control your day. Alright? Not control other people. Control your day. Control your time, because you're the steward of the time. And say, now you've got to control. It's like it's called self-control. You know self-control? It's a fruit of the Spirit. We need more self-control. So it's like, so I got to control myself in order to do these 7 tasks. And if people try and divert you, and they will divert you off your plan, you got to divert them. Because if someone gets on the tracks and says, excuse me, that way, you say, excuse me, I'm coming through. You better get out of the way. I'm going through. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. Because people like to control you. So you're not walking around telling others to get off their tracks. They're coming to you to get you off your track. Why? To help you with their tracks. And they couldn't care, and they didn't think how much impact this has on your life. As long as they got their little 2 cents in, and they're going to distract you whenever. So you say, excuse me, don't interrupt. So we got this thing called open door policy. Where did that come from? Jesus didn't have an open door policy. Do you know what he did? He went to the mountain and no one could find him. He said, close the door, lock, basically shut your cupboard and pray. It wasn't an open door policy. There are certain times that you cannot have your door open. Certain times you must not be available. You cannot be available for people all the time if you're a manager. You have to say, no. From that time to that one, do not disturb. Finish. Otherwise you'll never get it done. And you have to set your diary, and your certain things are non-negotiable. I do that on Thursdays, I do that on Fridays. That's what I'm going to do. And no customer, no one can change that thing. And be consistent. And do that. So basically you've got your plan. And so once you start to do that, you will get your momentum back. And the way to do it is, the 4th step was to review and strengthen your position. Remember the 4 steps of warfare? Vigor, number 1. Disarm, number 2. Number 3, systemize. The 4th one is?
Review your position. Review
and strengthen your position. And this is what we're doing now. Review and strengthen your position. Say, oh, we failed here, failed here, failed. Okay, strengthen your position. Repent, just change your way and start doing the first works again. Go back to the first things you were doing, like your first love. Let's say you lose your first love. You stop doing the things you were doing, like praying and telling people about Jesus. That's how you lose your first love. You stop doing the works that you were doing in the beginning. So we need to do the basics and we're going to keep the momentum, but right now we need to review and strengthen our positions.